want to go to the next story, which is about the AOC burner account. This story really blew up. So for those who are not aware, Nico House, right? So Nico House is part of MCSC, was a part of MCSC network. Nico actually found something out the other day. So he said, yo, AOC has burned accounts. I responded to one of her posts reminding her that she sends money to Nazis. And some random account responded to me speaking in the first person as if I attacked them. Then that same person deleted the tweets. And another thing that happened too is then that account also deleted the entire account, which was also weird. They blocked Nico. Mm-hmm. So I'll show people the screenshots here. So Nico responded to AOC and he said, but you vote to send money to Nazis and to fund the Israeli apartheid. But hey, at least you stood up to a TikTok star. Now, that was in response to AOC, basically trying to clap back at, I guess this is a TikTok person there.
That's Chaya, right? She runs the Libs of TikTok account. Yeah. The famous Libs of TikTok handle, yeah.
So he responded to her there. And then he received a response here from this account called Zaza at Zaza Smoka. LOL, what makes you think that I did anything to support Nazis? You're delusional. Seek help. So there's been some controversy over this. Like, some people are saying that when he responded, he was also responding to this account as well. So when that person responded, they were actually speaking on behalf of themselves and not AOC. At the same time, though, it is very strange that out of nowhere, right after that happened, that account not only deleted the tweet, blocked Nico, and then deleted the entire account.
That is very suggestive. That more than anything else suggests it's a burner account, because why would a civilian do that? This is just going to get you like a gazillion
you're going to go
followers,
right?
Right? Exactly. Like, why would you shut down your account now? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. And this tweet from Nico, so this tweet got over 32,000 likes, right? So it really blew up. And one of the people that caught on to it was, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She saw it. And she retweeted and she said, this you at AOC, Zaza Demon, is your burner account. This is a disturbing name. Excited to see an unhinged trans murderer, a member of the conservative press, Matt Walsh, ? Yes, that is demonic. So the name fits. So she was retweeting a tweet here. This is a screenshot of it. And this is Matt Walsh, and he says, I came to the conclusion years ago that the trans movement is the greatest evil our country faces. I only become more and more sure of this fact with each day passing and more determined to oppose it until my last breath. Okay, I think we all know, who Matt Walsh is. Like, his rhetoric is ridiculous. But here's that same account that says, you are a hateful little freak, and I can't wait until you piss off a trans person that is actually as unhinged as you claim to say they all are. Can't be a bigot if you're no longer breathing. So AOC apparently did respond.
That sounds like threatening language to me.
Right.
Aren't they supposed to come after you for that? Right? Isn't that the kind of thing that incites violence? I thought we're against that.
Right. I mean, well, they have their picks. Now, AOC did respond in reference to Matt Walsh, but the problem is this escalated to a whole other level, and I'll pull up the other one as well. I think that Colin made a good point here. He said, let me preface by saying, I don't give a damn if AOC has a burner account or not. But if people want to discredit Nico House, especially if you hate his guts, do the research to verify if the burner account is AOC's. And then he went on to say, it's interesting that people were willing to waste their time and effort to research whether Jimmy Dore has a burner account, but not AOC. Could it be that it's possible that the burner account is hers and don't want to prove Nico House correct? You guys remember that story?
Oh, yeah, the Jimmy Dore. Well, that was Matt Binder. Yeah. That was his big Daniel Ellsberg moment, finding out Jimmy Dore had a burner account. Yeah, absolutely.
So there does seem to be some bias there. And Colin says, and for the record, I don't give a damn that Jimmy Dore has or had a burner account. This is Twitter. Many of us do. But people are going to Nico House now because Marjorie Taylor Greene got a hold of that tweet. As much as I despise Marjorie Taylor Greene, she is rhetorically correct. RE pushing for peace in Ukraine. Why is she rhetorically to the left of progressives on that issue?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if that Zaza demon was not AOC and she read that Marjorie Taylor Greene quote tweet of Matt Walsh with the screenshot and everything, if she had any real Twitter game, whoever that is, she would have gone back to the well and done it again. This isn't me. How dare you say it was me mistakenly on the burner account one more time? Right. Yeah. She would have kept it going.
Jack it up.
Jack it up. Exactly. Look, if that is AOC's account, I think it is scandalous. Is it the biggest scandal in history? No, but I don't think elected officials should be misrepresenting themselves, especially when they're trolling in a way that is so antithetical to the persona that they put forward as their true self. Is it her account? My guess at this point is it's probably not, just because I don't think she would take a chance like that. It's possible whoever this Zaza Demon person is, maybe once she found out that people thought it was an AOC burner account, she just didn't want a part of that anymore, right? Because she feel like maybe I couldn't, I can't keep this up. I don't want people coming at me in this way all the time. Again, I think that's a bad instinct, because no press is bad press on social media, for sure.
Has AOC denied it? Has she denied it?
Yes, she has.
She did.
But what I will say is that it was certainly not unreasonable of Nico House to think it was a burner account at the time. Like, the account responded in the first person and then deleted not only the tweet, but they deleted the entire thing. So it wasn't like Nico was being unreasonable. It's not like he was going out on a limb. Like, I'd have thought the exact same thing if I were him in that moment.
And the entire account. The entire account.
It was definitely suspicious. Like I said, I don't fault him for thinking that, because it seemed like a pretty reasonable thing to think. And look, it still is a reasonable thing to think. I'm not saying I know that it's not her. I'm saying is that if I had to guess, I would say it's probably not.
I mean, it doesn't seem like something she would do that she just forgot which account she was in. Like, I could totally see that. Like, I feel like the evidence weighs more towards that it is than that it isn't, particularly because the account was deleted.
Yeah, well, Ryan Grimm also got involved in this conversation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it did happen. He said
we should have interviewed him for April Fool's Day. That would have been epic. Yeah, we got him on April 1st.
This guy replied to AOC and another account. First of all, he refers to Nico as this guy, which I found to be really weird. And then he says the other account then replied to him. Guy made an absurd leap to say that the other account was actually an AOC burner, which makes no sense. But so far, Senator Marsha Blackburn, MTG, and Matt Walsh have all jumped on it. And so, and again, I'm sorry, but I have to say it. This is Ryan Grimm doing what he usually does, coming to fight and defend for AOC or any squad member. He always does this. I told him this when he came on my show. I told him, I said, you are always there on Twitter to jump in and defend them.
But what did he say to that?
He said, well, give me some examples. So I gave him examples, and he said, well, as a journalist, like I interview them and they tell me their side of the story. And he said, so I'm just reporting the facts. And I'm like, but as a journalist, you're biased and you're easier towards them because you want to maintain access to them. None of us have access to members of the squad.
Right.
Nor
will we ever.
Exactly.
No. Not at the rate we're going.
So he goes on to say, do people not know how Twitter works? When you reply, it also goes to the person who retweeted, unless you manually remove them. It can cause confusion, but shouldn't be hard to sort out. And then he responds to a tweet here where he says, right, the account responded with I because he had responded to that account and the person clearly thought they were being attacked, then realized the mistake and deleted it. But deleted the entire account. So that's the part that's weird. And then he goes on here and he says, let's open it up to the class. Why would a person delete their account in this situation? And Nico chimed in and said, well, look who finally unblocked me to chase some clout. Hello, Ryan. He says, hello, Ryan. Would you care to talk about, are you going to hide behind Twitter like you usually do? And he said, do you feel stupid for not realizing what you did? Or are you excited about it because you have a Republican senators and MTG and libs of TikTok exploiting your mistake? Or is it a confusing combination of both emotions? And for those who are not aware, one of the things that Nico did say when he replied back to AOC was, again, why did she approve to send money to Nazis in Ukraine? And that was never answered.
Right. Well, that was the thing. That was the question that kind of started it all. Right. And look, the idea that Nico made a mistake, I mean, it wasn't a mistake. It was a perfectly, like I said, reasonable thing to think at the time. And we still don't know for sure that he was wrong. Right. I mean, like I said, if I had to guess, I'd guess it's not a burner account, but that's 60-40. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't say that for sure. Not even close.
Well, hang on. I mean, this seems pretty decisive. I didn't quite catch that part. So it's clear in the digital record that he responded to both accounts.
No, the Zaza demon, Zaza, whatever it is it Zaza demon? Apparently, she replied to AOC and Nico. Is that correct?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. So it's possible they happened at the exact same time, but again, the I is weird, unless both tweets fired off very, very close, and there was the timeline doesn't exactly represent, a true order of thought rather than just a random placement of two tweets that were fired off within seconds of each other. But the I is certainly, suspicious. That would lead you to think that there's something going on. And then the fact that, the entire account just went away after that. You would think Zaza Demon might come out and say, hey, this is not a burner account, whatever. Make a video of who you are, post it up. Here I am, not AOC, right? I mean, there's other things you can do. So, yeah, it's a fishy situation.
And Ryan Grimm apparently did block him. This is just
he blocked him again.
Yeah, I guess so.
What is wrong? What is wrong with these people, man? It's this whole thing of just and actually that video that Nico was responding to, it's typical of what I dealt with all day, because the woman from Libs of TikTok confronted AOC about things she said about her on the floor of the House, that she's filing an ethics complaint claiming that the things she said aren't true. So if this woman is wrong, debate her. Right. That's not what AOC does. In that video, she goes, oh, and you are a complete transphobe, and I don't want to be in the same space with you.
And she runs off,
And she runs away. Well, hey, you're a member of Congress. You said these things about this person directly. Defend them. I mean, why don't you? You're on video. You're a master of social media, right? So why don't you promote your beliefs and your ideas and how right you are? What better moment? You have her right in front of you. Devastate her. Melt her. Why do you run away? This is what they do. They won't debate. They will not argue their case, which to me says they're not confident in the case that they're making. If you're really confident, man, I mean, anyone will tell you, I'll argue with you all night, into tomorrow, into next week, into the next month. If you don't, why would you not argue if you really believe you have the right of it? Why would you run away?
That's a good point. And this was another message that he put here. Video was done the same day, cool breeze. But while I have you here, mind explaining why AOC voted to fund Nazis? And Ryan responds and says, what does that have to do with an error you made and refused to correct? Instead, you pin it to your profile. See, again, here comes Ryan Grimm to play defense for members of the squad. And then the other thing, too, is they don't want to answer this question. They don't want to talk about that, like the funding to Ukraine.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, that question about funding Nazis in Ukraine was also pinned to the top of Nico's account.
Right.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Why didn't she answer that?
Right.
She'll never answer that. You know, we can go back. It's funny because we don't yet have what they had in 1984, where you can send everything down the pneumatic chute that doesn't agree with what the reality is supposed to be today. You can find plenty of articles about Ukraine's Nazi problem before this war broke out. Lots of these outlets that now deny that there is such a problem wrote articles about the very severe Nazi problem in Ukraine that they don't have.
Yep. There's also the letter, too, which they don't seem to want to talk about as well. There's the letter that several politicians, including Ro Khanna, signed back in 2018, which actually stated that they were concerned about the Nazi presence in Ukraine and Poland.
Right. Yeah. But now it's you're completely out of bounds if you talk about this. And I just went to India, and India has swastikas everywhere because that's where the Nazis stole it from. And I did a video pointing one out and saying, this is what I keep saying. The Ukrainians are not Nazis. They're mystics. They're actually really into Eastern religion. That's the misunderstanding.
Oh, boy. Oh, dear.